I heard something just now that revealed to me what is wrong with me. And what I heard was the expression tyranny without a tyrant. It was coined by Hannah Arendt, and the speaker referred to it as he was speaking about or defining Kafkaesque. That 200 years, 100 years before Hannah Arendt, Kafka was writing about the tyranny without a tyrant. Now, I one time went to Korea with my Taekwondo group, and they were very hospitable to us and showed us all around, and there were a lot of goofy mishandling of a large group of people. But on one occasion, they were going to show us this beautiful, big stadium that was brand new, and they had built it for the FIFA Cup that was coming soon. And so I got in line, and I stood in line about 20 minutes, and I noticed the line was not moving. So I went up to the front of the line, and they were looking in people's purses and scanning everybody with metal detectors. And I counted that it took at least 90 seconds per person. And then I walked back up the line counting how many people that was going to be. And I figured it was going to be about 2 hours before I would be able to get inside this stadium. So I caught somebody coming out, and I said, well, what was that? And they said, a big empty stadium. They just want to show us that they built this big new stadium. So there was somebody in our group, a lady who was married to a Korean man, and so I said, I ain't standing around for this. I'm going downtown to see what there's to see. Okay, she wanted to go too. So I happened to tell one of the, would they be docents? Anyway, one of the handlers, that we were going to go downtown. No, kid, no. Yeah, well, I'm not standing in line for 2 hours to go look at an empty stadium. So finally they bring over this big guy. Have you ever seen Odd Job in 007 movie? Goldfinger, I think it was. Odd Job. This guy was son of Odd Job. And so he tells me that under no condition, under no situation, am I going to go downtown. And I said, yeah, I am. I'm going downtown. I'm not standing here for 2 hours. No, you are. Yeah. So, there I am. I'm in the grip of a tyranny without a tyrant, and I'm being really unreasonable. All these nice people are standing in line waiting to go in and see an empty stadium, and here's this asshole that's disrupting everything. And so finally Odd Job says, wait here. So I wait, and he goes over and talks to somebody, and so pretty soon everybody gets out of line and goes and gets on the bus. One asshole ruins the tour of an empty stadium, a brand new FIFA stadium. One asshole did it because he refused to be tyrannized by a tyranny without a tyrant. Okay, one day I'm at Lowe's department store, and I've got about $300 worth of crap stacked up on my cart, including 2 large pieces of wallboard. And the guy behind me says, how are you going to get that wallboard home in the rain out there? And I said, well, I do have a pickup. He said, yeah, well, how are you going to get it to pickup? And that's a good question. So as the young pup is ringing up the stuff, I said, so you got a covered area where I can load this wallboard without getting it wet? No. I said, okay, look, you got a big bay back there that I could back my truck up to, and we'll load it there. And from behind me, the manager says, no private vehicles at the bay. And I said to the kid, well, then back it out. I ain't buying it. So he backs out the wallboard, which is what, $10 maybe? And I said, no, the whole thing, $300, back it all out. And the manager says, okay, I'll meet you back there at the bay. Now, Donna calls me the consumer Nazi. But Jesus, if you're not, what are you going to do? All right, so then another time, I was having trouble with some phone company, and so I filed a lawsuit. Under Washington state law, you can ask for triple damages for unfair or deceptive practices against consumers. So I filed it and served the sons of bitches, and I get a call from some nice lady in Denver, and she tells me that what I'm doing is just full of crap. And I said, look, I've done this twice already, and twice already they settled, but they don't, I told her, you can't afford to send some lawyer to fight this thing. And so they've settled in the past, other phone companies. And so the way this is going to go is that you and I are going to hang up, and then, one of your lawyers is going to call and tell me just what you've told me, which is that I'm full of crap. And I'll say, okay, see you in court. And then the lawyer will call back and we'll settle. And the lady from Colorado says, well, okay, how much? I says, well, how about double my money? So I doubled my money just by being a jerk, by refusing to be tyrannized by the tyranny of tyrants. Now, it occurs to me, I think I inherited this, and I think I inherited it from my mother, which is surprising because my father was of Scots-Irish descent. The Kirk is Scottish for church, and he was of Scotch-Irish descent, and they are terribly, what's the word for anarchic? They are anarchic, and but no, my dad was he definitely colored inside the lines. But my mother, oh God. Now, something that would send my mother over the edge of sanity into domains of anger was if you demanded that she produce a driver's license. Oh God. Apparently, she had tried many times to learn to drive, and she somehow decided she needed to let my father teach her to drive. And when I asked why, she says, well, it was his car, having no knowledge of community property, that it was her car too, and it was his car, so he should teach me to drive. And his method of teaching her to drive was that if she ever made the slightest mistake, which if you've ever learned how to drive, it's fairly easy to do, slightest mistake, he would screech at her, you dumb shit. So, with that sort of Pavlovian PTSD, she never learned how to drive. And so she was at Safeway, and there was all kinds of things built into the shopping experience of Safeway to make her nutty, including that my father would drop her off at Safeway, and then he'd do whatever the hell he was going to do, probably go down to the hardware store. And my dad was a very chatty guy, and so he would chat somebody up and lose track of time. And so my mother would sit there at Safeway with 2 or 3 gallons of ice cream melting and steaks thawing out, and not a damn, no phones, nothing she could do except sit there and wait for the sumbitch. So she's, looking forward to her long wait, and she's standing in line, and so the checker gives her the total for her groceries, and she starts to write a check, and the teller says, well, I've got to have ID for your check. ID? God damn it, I've been shopping here for 40 years. What do you need ID for? Well, I haven't been here 40 years. I've only been here 4 months. I don't know you. And the clerk says, well, why don't you have a picture ID? I can't get a driver's license. Well, you don't have to have a driver's license to get a picture ID. You just apply to the Department of Licensing. My mother went batshit crazy. Oh, that was a bad thing for that grocery clerk to suggest to my mother. And, well, okay. So anyway, the tyranny without a tyrant, my mother and I both have been perplexed by it. Oh God. Oh yes. So one night, Donna picks me up at Baltimore Washington International Airport, and I had been out to Utah to visit the kids, and the plane is late. It turns out every plane was late, and it turns out that because the planes were late and because the toll booths for parking weren't seeing any business, the toll booth people were all allowed to go home. So we sit in the parking lot, engine running, for about 90 minutes before we get down to the toll booth to pay for parking. And I tell the lady, well, you need to knock an hour and a half off of the parking here, because it ain't our fault that you don't have people staffed, and we had to sit an hour and a half with the engine running in a garage. Well, no, you have to pay the full fare here. I ain't paying it. So a state trooper comes over and he says, if you don't pay, I'm going to arrest you. And I said, that'd be good. Arrest me. Donna paid the goddamn hour and a half. So send me some examples of where you have refused to be tyrannized by the tyranny without a tyrant. Love you out there. I do. I love you almost as much as I love my rhododendrons.